Got some more point information to share with you guys today. And as you guys know, there's a lot of different major events that are coming up and that are very close. We have, so many different things. You have the evictions, the massive, huge wave of evictions coming up where millions of people are going to get kicked off of their property. I heard in some places they're actually going to be extending it, but still in a lot of places, it's looking like they're gonna let it expire. But they did warn about a violent summer, so we're gonna have to see what the summer has in store. I believe right now, as I'm talking, I believe it's June 17th. So the summertime's pretty much 3 days away. Summer starts on the 20th of June. Um, so yeah, so many different things coming up. You have this Forever Purge movie that's coming out. You guys already know what the agenda is with with these movies that they put out with these types of themes, right? I'm sure you guys are familiar with what the type of theme of the whole Purge thing is, and it's pretty funny how it's called the Forever Purge, right? Which drops on July 2nd of next month, and then you have the Polygon event taking place 7 days after that, and you have the whole thing with the Arizona audits, right? Um, and that's also a part of the entire, I'm not even going to say the word, but I haven't talked about that one that much because I don't really care about it that much. But it's very possible there could be something very shocking that happens with that. Very possible that something with that, could end up happening that ends up surprising a lot of people. Um, but you have to really prepare yourself for what's coming because, and another thing too that I forgot to mention that's been happening in my last video that I was planning on mentioning in my last video, but I ended up forgetting to talk about it in that video, is the fact that in DC, they've actually been boarding up buildings. And of course, you guys already know what I think about this. I'm very confident that they're doing these things because they're literally getting themselves ready for what's coming and what's going to go down at any moment. We don't know the exact time. Some of these things they'll tell you when they're going to do it, some of these things they won't tell you when they're going to do it. But, so many things are being planned out, and, so many things are getting ready to happen at any moment. And it's looking like there's going to be a lot of big things that take place next month in July. Um, so, I'm not saying that that's when they're going to flip the switch, but it's very possible. We don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know when they're going to, decide to say, let's just pull the plug and let's just completely, come in full force with our entire plan and whatnot, right? And do what we have to do. A lot of catastrophic things are being planned out, and it's not going to be sweet when it all happens. Those same people who told you that you were crazy for stocking up on resources, those same people who called you um, you know, just a crazy lunatic and a conspiracy theorist, right? And those people with that normalcy bias who think that things are going back to normal, and people who just constantly downplay these threats, right? These are going to be the same people who are going to be begging and begging and begging for resources when they become scarce, and begging for resources when SHTF occurs, and they're going to wish that they would have heeded the warnings when they were put out. So um, you guys already know what I think about those group of people. That's not what I wanted to talk about today, but eventually they'll get what they deserve for keeping their heads in the sand, like most people. But they were warned. They were warned so many different times. But so many different things are coming up. You also have unemployment benefits that are ending, um, which a lot of them in a lot of states too are actually supposed to, they're actually supposed to end this month. And I believe in some other states too, they're actually just extending it and keeping it in place just for now. Even in my state's actually one of those states that are actually going to keep the unemployment benefits for now. But it's actually a lot of states, they're actually supposed to end the unemployment benefits this weekend. So um, get ready because you're going to start seeing more angrier people. We've already talked about this, about how more people are going to get frustrated, more people are going to get very, very upset. And of course, what this is going to lead up to is more people becoming reliant on food banks because people are not going to have money to get what they need. And it's just going to become tougher and tougher. And they're already preparing and getting ready for this bigger crisis that they have planned out and that they have in store. So, You know, you need to be doing the same thing that these people are doing, which is getting ready in every way possible. And while they continue to fool the masses into thinking that everything is going back to normal, and while they continue to fool people into thinking that things are getting better, they're just getting ready for the real deal, which they're going to pull off at any time. They could do it at any moment, folks. Remember that. Keep that in mind. Don't forget that. But it's important, and it's going to continue becoming more and more important that you're ready for these things. But like we always say, don't be afraid. Continue to get right with God. Continue to stay strong. Again, when you're in fear, you're not able to think critically. When you're in fear, it just makes things worse for yourself. When you're in fear, you don't make the right decisions in terms of the actions that you take, right? So, prepare yourself as much as possible, and do not downplay these serious things that are coming, and these serious things that these people have planned out, because it's very serious stuff. Um, so yeah, you have that whole thing, right, with unemployment benefits ending. It's going to cause more people to become more reliant on the food banks, because people are not going to be getting that free money anymore, and of course it's going to force more people to start getting to start working again. And pretty much these people, they could have taken advantage of all that money, that free money that they've gotten for months and months and months, without having to do anything, right? They could have taken advantage. They could have saved up, right? Maybe would have been able to catch up on some rent, right? But instead, most people, they decided to just sit back and just collect the money and spend it, and make horrible decisions with the way that they spend their money. And this is what happens when you this is what happens when you make horrible decisions like that. A lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening when they see what's in store and what's getting ready to happen at any moment now. But these people have made a horrible mistake. I'm not saying that that's what everybody's done, but for the most part, most people, that's what they've done. They've collected their money, they've sat back, became more lazy, right? And I feel for those landlords. I feel for those landlords who are in these situations where they can't evict these people because of the things that have been put in place. But a lot of these evictions are coming up, and because the whole moratorium's getting ready to end. And so yeah, folks, be ready, because these things are going to make people more and more frustrated. You already know what happens when people can't eat. You already know what happens when people can't keep a roof above their heads. You already know what happens when people are not able to feed their families, right? People get very, very angry, and it's going to lead to more outrage. So prepare yourself as much as possible.